Gravity Rush was released in Japan in February 2012 and in the West 4 months later in June of that year. It was developed by Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan Studios, Sony's Japanese arm of their first-party development studios. It was directed by Keiichiro Toyama, who was the creator and director of the original Silent Hill game. After developing Silent Hill, he joined Japan Studios and directed the Siren series of games before moving on to Gravity Rush. Although it was released just a few months after the Vita's launch, Gravity Rush was actually planned to be a PS3 game. Development started in 2008, but Toyama decided that the Vita would be a better fit for the game, with the tilting to aim mechanics adding to the game's immersion. The game is centered around the protagonist Kat, who wakes up in a floating town called Heckersville with all her memories gone. She discovers a mysterious black cat named Dusty that gives her the ability to manipulate gravity, allowing her to walk on any surface, fall in any direction and throw objects with ease. After saving a boy from being swept up in a gravity storm, Kat learns she can use her ability to help people against monsters spawned along with the storms, called Nevi. The game follows her journey around Heckersville and into hidden dimensions called Rift Planes to defeat the Nevi and try to uncover her origin. Along the way, she meets another mysterious gravity manipulator named Raven, who begins the game as Kat's enemy but later helps in battling the monsters. Players could control Kat by letting her walk around the towns, but the real fun came in experiencing Kat flying. At the start of the game, Kat's abilities are limited and she's only able to fly for a short amount of time. After beating some of the Nevi and earning enough jewels for ability upgrades, Kat could become very powerful, able to stay in the air for long periods and travel great distances at speed. Part of my enjoyment with the game was being able to just fly around finding jewels and exploring above and below the town. Controlling Kat was quite easy with the right trigger used to lift off the ground and fly to a target. The left trigger returned gravity to normal, causing Kat to fall. The camera could sometimes be awkward as it was easy to turn upside down when flying and get disorientated, but this was a minor gripe when compared to the fun of just soaring into the sky. Battling the Nevi could be done through melee attacks on the ground, lifting items with Kat's gravity powers and tossing them, flying into the sky and barreling towards the enemy with a devastating gravity kick, or using one of Kat's special abilities to attack multiple enemies at once. The gravity kick in particular was Kat's most useful attack. It was powerful and fast and could kill many basic enemies with one hit. It was also, however, a source of criticism for the game. Once the player had chosen an enemy to attack, the player could hit square to fly towards them. The target could be adjusted using the Vita's gyroscope controls, but due to the speed of the attack and some enemies being able to move out of the way at the last second, there were many times when the player would fly far past the enemy. Stopping, turning around and re-aiming and potentially missing again was a source of frustration to many players and reviewers. I can understand why the game was designed this way. Having Kat auto-target any enemy and always hit the mark even when starting the kick from far away would make the game far too easy. But when the player also had to deal with the sometimes awkward camera, it made battles with flying enemies annoying. I didn't enjoy this aspect of the game, but I think it was more than offset by the feeling that you were really controlling a superhero. Kat's bubbly and optimistic personality gave the game a light-hearted feel. Where so many games aim for dark and gritty, Gravity Rush was more about letting the players have fun with being a superhero. The story unfolds through comic book cutscenes which suited the game well. The game had many mysteries and Kat's amnesia gave players the feeling that they were learning about the world and its characters along with Kat. Gravity Rush was an open world game, and once you had upgraded Kat's abilities enough, you could fly between the world's 3 districts with ease. It wasn't a particularly big map, but each district had its own distinct design and music ranging from steampunk to gothic. Players could explore the areas for jewels littered above and below the towns, or could complete the optional challenge missions. The challenges ranged from flying around the districts, hitting checkpoints, fighting Nevi, carrying civilians to safety, or sliding races. The missions could be quite tricky to complete, especially without having all the correct upgrades. The challenge missions and the exploration were fun distractions and added to the game's longevity. The cel-shaded anime graphics looked amazing on the Vita. It's still one of the Vita's best looking games. Studio Japan had truly created a unique and beautiful world to explore. The game reviewed well, sitting at 83% on Metacritic, which made it the 5th highest rated Vita game at the time it was released. Currently it sits at joint 27th of all Vita games on Metacritic. Reviewers praised the game's world, graphics, gameplay and Kat's personality. Criticisms focused on the disorientation during battles caused by the camera and the confusing story with mysteries unresolved even after the game had been finished. Personally, I loved the game. I did get frustrated occasionally with the camera, but playing it, I had the same feeling of fun I had when I played the old open-world Spider-Man games. Flying through the air like a superhero made up for the game's shortcomings in my opinion. The game had 3 DLC packs that added extra story missions, outfits for Kat and challenges. They didn't add a huge amount of content, but they were fun and gave players a chance to revisit the world. Shortly after the game's release, at the Tokyo Game Show in September 2012, Toyama stated that he wanted to make a sequel and hinted that it was going to be made. The sequel was teased the following year with a full announcement in 2014. However, at TGS 2014, Sony also revealed Gravity Rush 2 would only be released on PS4. By 2014, Sony had pretty much given up on developing games for the Vita, and making Gravity Rush 2 a PS4 exclusive was just another indication of that. In February 2016, Gravity Rush Remastered was released on PS4, an HD upgrade of the original Vita game. After being on sale for only 5 months, Sony began giving Gravity Rush to PS Plus subscribers in November 2012 as part of its Instant Game Collection. It remained free to PS Plus subscribers until June 2014. While it was a good move for Sony to give away one of the Vita's flagship titles to new Vita owners and as an incentive to sign up to PS Plus, it annoyed loyal fans who had supported the game day one. Sony had created a new and unique game for the Vita. It was the kind of game I used to show off the device, and at the time of release it gave me a lot of hope for the Vita's future potential. While I can understand Sony's rationale for putting Gravity Rush 2 on PS4, I still find it disappointing that Vita owners would not be able to continue Cat's story on the handheld where it belonged. Gravity Rush 2 was released in January 2017 to positive reviews but disappointing sales. Perhaps if it had been on Vita, the game would have done better with the same audience that made the first game a success. Thanks for watching, and please check out my other Vita retrospective videos.